Hello there, Internet. I've created a new mod for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak that will put monster information icons over top of all of the monster icons in the game. So I wanted to do a quick explainer video showing everyone how this thing works. Right now I've got the explainer picture up, so I'll run you through this real quick. Uh, we have an app where you can select what the layout of these icons is going to be. This is the default layout, and the default layout works like this. In the top right corner, it shows you what single element is the best element to use against the monster. If it's outlined in green like you see here, that means that you have a particularly juicy elemental weak spot. And what that means is that there is a part on the monster that you would be targeting anyways, because it's going to have a hit zone value for raw of 45 or higher. And also that part has to have an elemental hit zone of 25 or more. So you get a particularly juicy hit spot that you're going to be attacking anyways. Um, Aside from that, at the top center here, we'll have an image of which anti-species gems are effective against the monster. Down across the bottom lists all of the ailments that the monster is weak to. Only ailments that are 2 stars or more will be shown, and 3-star elements will be shown with a green glow. Finally, there's a defensive gearing icon in the top left corner. This icon will tell you what kinds of blights and status effects the monster is going to be throwing your way. So this will tell you what kind of stuff to prepare for. All right, so now that we've got the idea down, let me show you how to generate your own customized version of this mod. So here I've got my my Monster Hunter Rise folder in the Steam library. So your file path will be something much like you see here: Steam apps, common, Monster Hunter Rise. This is just where I've saved the generator file to. You can save this file to anywhere you want, but I've just put it in this folder for convenience. You'll also notice I already have the Fluffy mod manager installed. So if you're planning on using the Fluffy style mod, you'll want that installed before you start this all off. Okay, so let's go ahead and crack open this generator file. Now, when I wrote this program, I had to bundle a lot of image files with it. So expect it to take a good few seconds to start up. I've already clicked on it and it's still loading because it's quite big. There's 615 megabytes of image files in there. So it'll take maybe 30 seconds even to load up. So just be patient. Now that we've got it loaded, you can see the interface here. We've got all of these selections across the top here, so you can decide what kinds of modes you want to show. I already said that the default mode for weaknesses is to show the one weakness that monsters are weakest against. You can also set it to show the weakest 2 elements. And when you do so, it'll show you the very weakest element closest to the monster here. And then the one further away is sort of your second best element, if you want to know what the second best element to take would be. Right here, you see a preview for what your current icon layout is going to look like for a particular monster. So if you want to see what this looks like for, say, Gold Rathian, select Gold Rathian, and it'll show you what the icons will look like. Let's talk a little bit more about the other modes. We have the weakest 1 element or weakest 2 elements. Now for ailments across the bottom, it looks like Gold Rathian doesn't have any ailments that have 2 or more stars. You also might prefer, rather than showing the things that the monster's weak to, you might prefer to see what kinds of ailments are just not going to work against it. So you have this option. You can make a mod where it shows you the ailments which are not effective. That means they have 0 stars. They're basically immune to these. finally, for the Rampage gems, fitting the Rampage gem icon on here started to make it look pretty busy. So if you want to display the Rampage gems, the default is to have them up in the middle center here. You can see different monsters all have them up in the middle center. But you can have it replace the gearing icon. And if you do that, you can't show the gearing icon. You'll notice it disabled it immediately when I clicked on that there. But now, if you didn't care about showing the gearing for each monster, this just cleans up the icon a little bit so it's less busy. You can also put it into the ailments spot down here. Obviously, you can't show the ailments if you do so. Or you can have it replace where the weakness is. Or you can just disable it altogether. So now that we've seen what all the options are, how you can see what they look like, I guess there's one other thing I'll mention here. You probably noticed it already, but in the game you have your hunter's notes, and they have these big icons, and so it'll use this image. But while you're out on a hunt, the icons that are used in a hunt are these tiny, tiny little icons. They're only like 48 by 48 pixels. And so it was a lot harder to fit all of the info on there because there's not much to go on. So for example, if I go to a monster with lots of elemental weaknesses, lots of ailment weaknesses like Great Baggy, it's a lot of stuff down here. And so you can see what that's going to look like on your small icons and decide whether it's too busy for you or whatnot. So once you've made your selections and you've figured out a layout that you really like, then you can go ahead and generate the mod. Now, there's two kinds of mod you can generate. One is just a pack mod, and you'll notice here in your Monster Hunter Rise Games folder, there's a pack file here, RE-chunk000 pack. That is the main game file folder. It has all of the files that the game needs to run. If I click on it, you'll notice it is huge. It's 30 gigabytes. This is basically your entire game right here. Now, one way to alter this is to add in another pack file that just overwrites a few of those. So if you want to do it that way, you can do it that way. You just generate a pack mod. Click here. It'll ask me, where do I want to save this? Well, I want to save it to my Monster Hunter Rise folder. I've got a shortcut to it here in my system. So I'll navigate there. I'll select the folder. It tells me I generated the pack mod. And you'll notice I now have another thing here. So this patches the original file. It's only got the monster icons that we want. So it overwrites them in the game. Now, you might have other pack mods installed already. So you might already have a file named patch000 like this for another mod. If that's the case, when you click Generate Pack Mod, it's gonna and you select this folder, it's gonna warn you, hey, we already have one of those there. Do you want to overwrite it? If not, if you don't want to overwrite it, well then what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to choose a different folder. I'll just go ahead and extract it into my Fluffy Mod Manager folder here. It generates it. I go to Fluffy Mod Manager, and now this pack file, I can rename it to be 001. I can cut it and move it out into this folder here. And now I have the next pack file. So if you like to do your mods by just plopping in pack files here, you can do it that way, but you do have to rename this one. Okay. I don't do my mods that way, so I'm going to go ahead and delete those. Instead, I'm going to use the Fluffy Mod Manager. So to generate a Fluffy mod, you click Generate Fluffy Mod, obviously. Choose your folder. Now, the Fluffy mods belong in Fluffy Mod Manager, Games, Monster Hunter Rise, Mods. And this is where you plop down your mod files. So I'll select this folder. It generated the Fluffy mod. If I go in here now, you'll see I now have this RAR file. And this RAR file contains the file folder structure with all the files in it. So just having that in your Fluffy mod folder like this means that when you run the Fluffy Mod Manager file, it'll show up in here. And you can turn it on or off like so. All right, so that should be all you need to know in order to use the mod generator for the monster icons information. So have a good day and happy hunting.